Hey there, it's Jeneth Blackert. Welcome back to video number 2. Today I want to bust one of the biggest myths that marketers will give you, and that is that you've got to have a niche market. Now, it's funny because I said this on a talk back in the day in about 2011, 2012. I did this whole niche schmeesh little chat. And then I had a high level marketer that was making millions said, no, you've got to choose a niche market. And it just felt like the whole world was crumbling back down on me. And I went through that for a couple years where I was like, okay, am I a nutritionist? Am I a blogger? Am I a nutrition blogger? Am I a coach? Am I a coach that certifies other coaches, which is I do? Am I, this? Am I that? It's sort of like, am I a mom? Am I a mother? Am I a daughter? Am I a child, right? And it started to get to the point that this is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that I've got all this mind chatter going on in my head. And so finally, I worked with a coach and she said, all your identities, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate them? Which, kind of threw me for a loop at the moment. And then suddenly I said, and I said it from all of me, yes. And what ended up happening was something quite remarkable. I then opened the door to completing this delicious novel that I'd been wanting to write for 4 years. It's about a girl who has a trip and a fall, and then a conscious leader works with her to help her discover her. It's called Falling in Stilettos. Maybe you've seen it. I wrote that novel, and then I started to write some of these messages different way on my lifestyle blog, which includes, yes, nutrition recipes, yes, productivity tips and personal development, and yes to all the things that I wanted to explore, including travel and journeys and us buying a beach house and me sharing about that story. And it's brought abundance upon abundance of wealth and money. And it's also brought an abundance of joy and happiness and me really getting to play with an audience once again. And I never went back to that marketer and said, hey, look at me now. But I have to tell you, there's something inside me that this is that video where I'm saying, hey, you know what? Maybe you don't need a niche. Maybe that works for you, and maybe that works for some people, but it didn't work for me. And I'm guessing if you're watching this and you think of yourself as a creativepreneur, as a lifestyle blogger, even as a fashion blogger, it probably doesn't work for you either. So I wanted to bust that myth on right from the start. This is really about, what do you love? Like, what do you love? What is it that you loved when you were 12 years old, but you wouldn't explore? What is it that you love and you still love, but you won't openly share it with someone? What are the things that you feel like you're being a rebel about in this world, but you're afraid to tell anybody, right? These are the things that I want to play with, that I want to explore. I want to explore a land where there is no right and wrong. There is no good and bad. But that's just to see what we can create here, how it'll benefit people, how it'll be the contribution. I said that in the first video, like the true engagement, true contribution. How can y'all be a contribution to my world? how can I be a contribution to you? Like, what if it isn't me, the leader, and you, the audience? What if you are also the leader? I just want you to play with that in your world for a minute. I want you to play with that in your world. So, one of the other myths within this industry, and I will leave it at that, is that there's separation. And there's a lot of people out there that are just doing things that, isn't really connection. It isn't really what I'd like to call communion. It isn't even kind. And what if we can be the ones that become our full greatness, become the leaders of this industry, and we become the contribution that this world so desperately needs out there? So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that. I want you to play with this, explore this. Explore it all through your body and your being and everything. Explore it in how you buy groceries, right? Explore it in how you eat food, right? I'm a nutritionist, so a lot of things that I think of, it kind of goes in nutrition words. And you know what? It's okay because it relates across the board. The greatest thing that I love about food and nutrition is it engages all five senses. So what if we can reignite those five senses, and what else is beyond those five senses that we've got capacities for, that we can engage in our lists and our audience on social media, on our blogs? What else is that? So just some food for thought. Grab your journal, open the door to explore some more questions about who are you and how can you show up in a bigger and greater way by truly being you. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.